All right, we're live. Fantastic. Slow on the internet problem today, apparently. And we are busy because we have a runoff for Jerry Tussaud.
And he's here.
And he's here. I see him over there. They are putting stickers on palm cards that are door hangers that have the corrected, updated date for the runoff, which will be 2 weeks from the 4th. So this is in Simpsonville for Ward 6. The runoff election will be on the 18th. There are 4 voting locations down in Simpsonville, and they will have early voting the 12th, 13th, and 14th in the runoff. But I think that will be up at McAllister Square. On the backside, I think we only had about 12 people early vote in the regular election, so we're not really pushing early voting because people aren't going to drive from Simpsonville up to McAllister Square. Same thing too. There's a runoff in Fountain Inn. Hopefully, we'll be talking about that over the next few days and seeing if we can't help down there in that race too. But again, I don't think anybody from Fountain Inn is going to drive all the way up to McAllister Square. So, all right. So elections were this past Monday. We got trounced in the city of Greenville, essentially 60-40 on both of the 2 Republican races. And we're trying to figure out how and why, because we didn't see the Democrats doing that much other than the fact that, of course, the Democratic Party chair for the state was up here door knocking, doing some videos and calls and helping in that respect. As you guys know, we can't even get Drew McKissick with the MAGA to even give us access to the data. So, and did we check the volume? Is the volume working okay? So that is, as I've had other people call about the debacle, really across the state with some of the, we held even here in Greenville. We didn't win and pick up anything as we had hoped, but we certainly, we did perhaps in 2 of the municipalities, but we'll talk about that later. But is it working? Yeah, good. But but it's disappointing to see Greenville essentially at a 60-40 split. So that's something we've got to talk to with the leadership in the city and see what they want to do. My comment was, we're really not seeing a difference. What was the motivation to get people in the city of Greenville out? There really wasn't that much because most of the the elected officials, they're uniparty in the sense that one side votes or governs the same way as the other side. So we're going to try to figure that out. But we're excited about this runoff with Jerry Tussaud in Simpsonville. If we do that, if we can get that pulled off, that will give us a 4-3 majority, conservative majority in Simpsonville. And it came to our attention. We were informed last night. We kind of played a nice campaign. The other side put out some pretty nasty stuff, but that's kind of what those people do. But one of the things we will want to communicate is that Jerry's opponent, who is the incumbent, is actually the individual who cast the deciding vote to not have impact fees in the city of Simpsonville. And I can't tell you how many people have reached out to us asking about Jerry and why we endorsed him. And they are sick of the overdevelopment and the growth in Simpsonville. And to find out last night that it was actually from some well-informed sources that it was his opponent, Lou Hutchins, who is the actual person who did the deciding vote against impact fees in Simpsonville. So we'll try to communicate that out to as many people as we can between now and the election on the 18th. So other than that, we had Greer, a nice pickup with Charles Lander, beat Lee Dumas. Lee Dumas refused to meet with us. So it was an obvious choice for Charles to support Charles Lander. Lee Dumas was instrumental in pushing this $100 million bond referendum over in Greer, which is why they have, I think the 4th highest millage rate in the entire state for municipality. So glad to see he got trounced pretty hard by Charles Lander. We helped him with some text messaging and getting people out to vote in Greer. That was in Greenville, but we also helped folks over in in Spartanburg. There was one precinct in his particular district, so we texted into that district to get some people out, so let them know that they had a vote. The other race there was between Paul Lamb and Judy Albert. We kind of like both. Judy voted against that $100 million issue. Judy had been the incumbent for a good while, so we kind of stayed out of it a little bit in that respect. It was tough to pick one over the other because we had very nice things were told to us about Judy, but I think Paul, he obviously took the day. Remember how much Paul won by, but some people just like some change and such. So thanks Judy for what she's done, and thanks appreciate what she's done over the years, and look forward to working with Paul over there in Greer. They've got their issues with what they're building and the 4 big projects with that $100 million program. So Malden was a push, nothing really new there. And then I said we got Fountain Inn, and then obviously Travelers Rest was a push. They're still counting up down at the election commission here some write-in ballots. The Lake Cunningham Fire District had nobody running, but they had 2 positions, and so they're counting the hundreds of ballots there. And of course House District 21, the runoff was on the 4th as well. So what happened in that runoff, it was apparently at the end of the day, Steve Nail was short 20 votes. 20 votes out of, what was it, about 3,000 total? So what's happening today is that certified vote was sent down to Columbia yesterday at 3 o'clock today. The state will order automatically a legally required runoff or a recount. Conway's office of the Greenville County Board of Elections will start their recount at 3:30 this afternoon down in McAllister Square. You're more than welcome to go down and watch if you like, if you've never seen a recount. But as my understanding is, as we explained to us yesterday at the certification, they will literally count the ballots, hand count all the 3,000 some odd ballots. Right, so expect that to be done today, and we'll get the final vote on that. Things can change. I don't think anybody's really counting on the recount moving 20 votes, but it could. I mean, Stan Jubilakis, when he ran for county council a couple years ago, I guess 5 years ago now, he was down initially, but when they did the recount, he had won. So you never really know. I mean, we were supporters of Steve Nail. We're going to highly encourage him to run again. We will see. And I think we need to do, from the party's perspective, a little more work to expose who Diane Mitchell is. We will reach out to her and ask her if she wants to would be willing to cooperate and work cooperatively on legislation that we're pushing here, and our legislative agenda has been approved by the Greenville County Republican Party. But assuming she is unwilling to do that, we'll further expose what her participation was in the reorg fraud of 2021, and maybe we need to do that anyhow. I mean, I think we actually do need to do that anyhow, because I am extremely disappointed in the people that did endorse her, and the fact that they endorsed her knowing of her participation in the fraud of 21, and most of those people, quite frankly, were the Freedom Caucus. So you tell me why people that stand up to be good Christians, good legislators, conservative legislators, are going to sit there and support someone that they know participated in the reorg fraud. And but maybe that explains why their co-founder is now a convicted pedophile. So that's the lay of the land. I think if you want to look over in Spartanburg, they were disappointed to lose the city of Lyman to a Democratic mayor. Or that's probably not partisan, but is a Democrat. And the state Democratic Party is cheering it on. So as a big win up over in Lyman. So, I had many people again reach out to me about why, what the state party's doing on this. I can tell you we get zero support from the state party. not even access to the data. I've talked to folks from other states, which quite frankly, it's disappointing that, to hear from a chairman in another state that the state party allows them to use their technology and systems. Texting, we sent out tons of texts. Guess what? We have to pay for them. We have to fundraise for them. We have to do that. In other states, you got people sending out text and doing things, communicating with constituents to get out the vote, even in blue states. And the state party's paying for that type of stuff. So Drew doesn't seem to be willing to work with any county or any folks that do not support him in the election, which I kind of understand, other than the fact that it's his job. His job is to work with us. We work with, there's some people that, or some ECs in our precinct, in a couple of our precincts. We are happy to work with them on furthering the mission and the agenda. They're not our best friends, but and if they got questions and they're honest brokers, we'll listen to them. But it's frustrating to see the state party, and I think there's now a bigger push to expose Drew McKissick on using the state party as his tool for his reelection, and not really real concerned about what's going on here, especially in the municipal elections. These are not partisan elections by and large, but as we all know, everything's partisan. So. The other thing that is of interest that's going on right now is Pickens reorg started, I think, yesterday. I think it was the first one. It's they still, I think they've accumulated most of the precinct reorg locations, but not in times in locations, but not all of them. I've seen the list. They keep updating the list, and the SCGOP refused to share that list. I will tell you the SCGOP also refused to share the list with a state senator over in Pickens. They gave that state senator the location of his precinct reorg, but when he asked the executive director Leighton Gray, for the complete list so he could share it with everyone and get as many people out to reorg as possible, to the reorg makeup or redo, they did not want to give it to him either, a state senator. So because I can't remember the exact term that was used. They were afraid of harassment, or that it was something about safety. So you're only going to reach out to the people that attended the first time. Isn't that what you're complaining about when having to do this reorg makeup? Make them do it again because they didn't have room for it. It's just amazing. Some of the precinct locations that they have can only accommodate 20 or 30 people, while they have a possibility of getting over 100 people at these locations. So it's so funny to watch the hypocrisy that's coming out of the state executive committee and Drew McKissick of how they're running the Pickens reorg, and not really abiding by their own set of rules or standards or principles that they put out there. So it's very disappointing in that respect, but we're fighting the good fight, and hopefully if you know anybody in Pickens, send them to their reorg. You can find it on Facebook. Pickens Stands United is their page. Or the America First page over there. Again, Facebook, Pickens Stands United. And we really need to push to get everybody out there. There's been a push, I would say there's been a push to expose this to legislators across the state. Here in Greenville, Pickens, as I said, let them know. But quite frankly, I don't think many of them care. So they say, oh, I just want to stay out of whatever goes on in the drama in the party itself. It's not drama. We are part of election of the election code, and we are part of the entire process. So these are people that aren't willing to stand up and follow the law, and they're not willing to call out Drew McKissick for not following the law. And as we know, our Attorney General, Alan Wilson, is unwilling to do anything because he has attended many of these county conventions and just watched the fraud and corruption go on without actually doing anything. So I think that's actually hurting Alan Wilson's campaign for governor right now, but so be it. So I think that's good. So
Yeah.
yes.
I just saw it's interesting thing I just found out from Jerry's opponent Facebook. He is posting this picture that he's excited to attend the debate, and he's putting a big question mark, will Tuso attend? Well, guess what? Tuso has not heard about any debate. And the debate is being hosted by organization that his opponent is a board member of.
Oh, the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lou is a member of the Chamber of Commerce down there. Yeah. So
That was real nice of them to let
Talk
you know,
about it
Jerry.
now, but I'm like, I
Good
asked
to know, Jerry,
Jerry,
huh?
I saw it on his opponent's Facebook, so I asked Jerry, have you heard anything? Nope.
So what is this supposed to happen?
Well, I don't know nothing other than his opponent is challenging Tuso to attend.
But you didn't give a date for tomorrow.
No,
Nope.
nothing. It's in the works. He said it's in the works.
we'll see. The comments that we've seen on Jerry's opponent's Facebook page have been rather nasty, very attacking personally on Jerry, who's a good friend of ours, attacking on us as being radicals, pushing our personal agenda. I don't know what personal agenda we're pushing down in Simpsonville, other than trying to get a firm conservative majority down there. That's not going to be kowtowing to developers. And you know, when the realtors on there are voting for the developers, and when Lou Hutchins, or the challenger, or Jerry's opponent, it was the deciding vote on killing impact fees, or certainly the study or impact fees to get the developers to pay their fair share. That's an issue or problem that I think constituents want to hear about, and that we're going to work on communicating to people out there about what exactly is going on. And I'll have to look it up. I'll go to SC Ethics right now and see if Mr. Hutchins has actually even filed his ethics reports, because last I checked, he had not.
Oh.
So let's check Hutchins, INGS, HUTCHINGS. Okay. Lou J. Hutchins, City Council, Simpsonville City Council. Let's look up his 2025 to see if he's done anything. No, he hasn't. So his date submitted, he had a fourth quarter 24 report that he submitted on March 29th, 2025. And then on 10/6, he submitted his report for the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter with zero activity. And he has not filed anything, the required pre-election report, which Jerry's filed. So Lou Hutchins has been out there. Obviously, he bought some signs and did some things, but he has failed to even file his quarterly or his ethics report. So he certainly filed those first 3 quarters late. I don't know if we can share this up on the screen. I might do that. Let's see. How do I share?
Screen request.
Yep. I'm going to share my screen. And we'll pull up Lou Hutchins. There he is. How's it looking on the?
Looking great.
You got it up there?
Yeah.
All right. So this is Lou Hutchins'
Also, he
ethics report. Yes. So he filed it
same exact expense
Right.
and balance for now.
at least a year. I haven't gone back and looked at 24, but he filed, you know, as you can see, hold on, let me get over there. He filed them on 10/6, October 6th, but you have to file a pre-election as well. So he has spent money. He certainly spent more than $500, spent and or raised more than $500, but he's not filed his pre-election thing. So maybe somebody needs to report that. I did kindly mention it to one of his supporters. I said, you know, if you do me a favor, you know, before we have to call him out, you know, ask Lou why he has not filed his pre-election ethics reports. I guess that person either did not contact him or did not or contacted Lou, and Lou decided not to. Because but this guy has been in office for a long time. I think 16 years or whatnot. So I mean, certainly since 2017. We've got reports from back there. Let's see when he did his 24 reports. Reset filters 24. Well, let's run through all of them. Date submitted. So when he did his first quarter report or his fourth quarter report for 24, he did all of those. You can see all. Holy tamale. He did all those reports from the second quarter of 2022. Well, he did those in 23. First quarter of 23,
So
all the way through 24, he only filed them on March 29, 2025. So he was behind as of March 29th. He was behind 2 years worth of ethics reports.
Mhm.
He did file a pre-election in 21 on 10/15, but he has yet to do that here in this election. So is that the type of person we want to reelect? I don't think so. So we were nice about it, kind enough. I asked one of our supporters, and I guess we'll just call the State Ethics Commission and find out what we need to do. So that's that. So we'll push harder on that. So what else is up? Who else has got questions, concerns? You see, we're actually right here. As I said, we're setting up, putting the new dates out there. Because we want turnout. So that's one thing that is a big problem that's out there. Is a lot of these races were low turnout. I don't even know what the turnout was. Jerry, you know what the turnout was? It was, I think there's 17,000 voters, and we maybe had 2,000 less.
No, total was
Total were
421, 417.
So under,
800, around
around
1,000.
Around 1,000 out of 17,000 potential voters.
Yes.
I mean, that's abysmal. It really is.
Yeah.
For everything we're trying to do to get people out and to pay attention to these races and do what they can. So we're gonna push hard on trying to get some folks out and and see where we can go from there. So all right. What's next? Legislative stuff? You want to talk about that? We had our legislative.
Yeah,
We had our legislative agenda meeting last night. We had some good food at 6 o'clock, and a good meeting started at 7.
Nachos at 6 and meeting started at 7. And I guess we're shifting gears. We went over what went on in the elections, and now we're moving to our 7 planks, I guess we call them.
Yes. Yep.
And we people are now that we can take some gas off the pedal or foot off the pedal on the elections, we're going to do the legislative. So people are now looking at that. It is a new legislative season. They're filing, pre-filing. People have been watching old bills. We're going to see how they're faring, if there's anything new. So we're basically starting off. And the other thing I've taken over, I decided to be the judicial reform. I'm going to take head on that, and I'll start looking into that, doing searches on any filings if we can find out if they're actually doing it. It's now a hot button, legislative reform. So we're going to go forward. So that's about it. It's the first day of the new season.
That's right. We're going to focus
That's all
now
we
that
got,
we
on the
got
front
this
side.
runoff we'll focus on, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We're going to start turning aim toward our legislative agenda. I've asked Olga to pull up the X account for Bits News, because this, I think, is pretty critical, especially with you picking up judicial reform. Apparently, the conversation out of the Senate Majority Leader, Shane Massey, is he doesn't see need for judicial reform. Everybody's talking about it. We're one of 2 states.
Governor
candidates
candidates are all
about it.
talking about it, and we're one of the 2 states that
Correct.
the Senate's the legislator picks the judges, and we feel that needs to be changed somehow.
Right, amen.
And it's a hot button, even nationally,
Right.
about
Yes.
corrupt judges,
Yes. And look,
inactive judges.
so we have a Senate majority leader that is sitting there saying that he doesn't see it as an issue or a problem. What I would call your attention to is that is somebody who is not up for reelection until 3 years from now, while the House is supportive of judicial reform, allegedly, but they're up for election next year. So if you kind of see the difference, they're hoping, Shane Massey obviously is hoping that, if we kind of
It'll
sweep this
blow
up,
over.
yeah, it'll blow over and nobody will remember 3 years from now. We need to remember that. And Shane Massey was the one pushing the tort reform last year. But our belief was he was pushing the tort reform on behalf of the insurance companies. And we've seen Shane Massey push for 100% government runs for
Relax.
choice and be unwilling to talk to us on that. So that's what's kind of going on with our Senate leadership, majority leadership. So Shane Massey comes from the county of Edgefield, a small county. I think the number one employer there is the public school system. So, even though he is a Republican, he is kowtowing, if you ask me, to the Democratic agenda, and certainly, the lawyers, out there, or the judges out there on this judicial reform stuff. So it's something I think we really need to concentrate on, and remember, for 3 years from now. I think he got a pass. Nobody ran against him. But then he's got a lot of money in the bank. He is the majority leader, and that's how they do that. And he is the one that picks who to fund and who to support when other senators out there running. So when Jason Elliott ran again, or there was a race up here, it was Jason Elliott and who's Jason? Jason and Senate race? Ben Carper. Okay, sorry. Spaz there. Ben Carper, the House or Senate Majority Leader was helping Jason Elliott. So that's our problem. So now Oldest pulled up the X account. Fitz News says South Carolina Senate Majority Leader at Shane Massey taking incoming from Ron Reddy, SC, founder of official Doge SC, over comments made earlier today during a press gaggle on the issue of judicial reform. What Ron Reedy wrote, apparently Senate Majority Leader / lawyer legislator Shane Massey commented that he was, quote, he was not, quote, sold on judicial reform bill as he did not see a need for it, end quote. So there's a message for the senator. It's not your decision to decide on the validity of the Constitution. So that's what we're dealing with. I think a couple years ago, I was at a meeting where Shane Massey was thinking about running for governor 4 years ago, I guess. And somebody asked him if he saw any problems with the at that meeting, if he saw any problems with the machines or the voting machines, and he said no. And I think the next week he announced that he was not running. He was not going to run for governor. So I mean, this is another one of those things. How out of touch must you be to sit there and think?
Right.
Are you that out of touch, or are you that on the take? That much on the take?
Both.
Both, maybe both. I did the opposite.
If you're on the take, you can be out of touch.
Yes, if you're on the take, you
No
must
point
be.
paying attention.
Yes, you don't want to have to admit that what you're doing is awful bad. So the other thing that was out there, on Tucker Carlson, talking about the U.S. Senate race, or Lindsey Graham, Paul Dans was on Tucker Carlson, I think last night or night before, whatever it was. Some of our people have watched it. I've yet to watch it. Tucker Carlson is not a fan of Lindsey Graham. Very, very prominent about that. And so he had Paul Dans on his. So I think you're now seeing, the move of what and that was part of Andre Bauer. I think he had the connections with Tucker and those types to be able to get that message out there. And Paul Dans is picking that up as opposed to Mark Lynch. So you know, and you know, it's what our people have told us who've seen the interview is they didn't fully understand how integral that Paul Dans was in the Trump campaign or the Trump administration and on that Project 2025, which Heritage Foundation did. So he's kind of, you know, he is, I think he went to MIT
Yes.
undergrad, and then he went to Virginia, probably Virginia Law. I can't.
Well, the other interesting thing, found out that his brother was the big coordinator when Trump was talking about purchasing Greenland.
Oh, really? Paul Dan's brother was?
Well, he was actually coordinated, he got that all set up according to my source who cyber stalked him.
Oh, really? Okay. And didn't Timmons go to Greenland too? And I know.
So his brother
Charlie
was
Kirk and
big
those guys.
on that with
Yeah.
with Trump.
So, I mean, they are connected. They're
Yeah.
connected to the Trump team and Trump world, which is different than Mark Lynch. I don't think
Yeah.
Mark Lynch has those connections there. You know, and we'll see where it goes. What I have seen,
And who's the SC Doge guy?
a guy by the name of Ram Reddy. You know, let me.
And he was calling out the majority leader for not.
Yes,
judicial.
yes.
Okay.
Ram Reddy is new to the scene.
All right.
He is, and I'm gonna add this to the stage too. We often follow the betting odds that are out there, and the polls, you know, don't change as fast as the betting odds. But what predicted, or I guess it's predicted, the Poly Market, they actually do have betting odds on who will be the Republican Senate primary winner. Right now, they have Lindsey Graham at 75%, Paul Dans at 20%, Mark Lynch at 9%, and Thomas Murphy at 9%. Anybody even know Thomas Murphy? No. So I mean, that's
Interesting.
he has a Facebook page, but his name's out there, and apparently he's registering at 9%. It's very early, obviously in that race, but that shows some of the overtaking of Mark Lynch on that. So that'll be interesting. And I don't even know if that even reflects, you know, what has gone on with getting on that Tucker show and all that kind of stuff. So, what were you just asking?
Oh, about the SC Doge guy.
Oh, the SCJ. Okay, Ram Reddy is a business person, owns a piece of property down on the Isle of Palms. Picked up the name, and he was having, I guess, DHEC or so, whatever the group is that manages the property boundaries, I guess, with the ocean and what you can put out there and all that type of stuff. They were saying he was too close, that he couldn't build, you know, the whatever is necessary to protect his property. And so he got into a personal fight with those people. And I think he's lost the court cases in that sense. But he is now trying to, you know, get involved in politics. I've talked to his people. I've talked to him. You know, he voted in, I think, one Republican primary that I had seen. He had donated to, you know, the House Majority Leader, you know, or the Speaker of the House. You know, I know the people that he's surrounding himself with. I think his first initial political director was dating one of the girls that works for the SCGOP. So I gave my suggestion of getting together a bunch of the different groups, conservative groups, and trying to pull us all together was something we've always said I think is desperately necessary, because we're all in a circular firing squad, and you know, nobody will come to the table, and you know, because everybody wants to be king. So I mean, that's not us. I mean, we're trying to invite and get everybody to it. And I think our America First GOPs, we're all pretty united in what we do, you know, those 7, 8, 9, 10 counties. But or 12, I guess we got 12 good votes on a bad day, 19 or 20 on a good day. But we're trying to pull all those people together to show a united front. But you know, when you can't get the Freedom Caucus to sit down, you can't get, you know, Doja C to sit down, you can't get everybody wants to kind of rule their little roost. As somebody, you know, and a lot of the times, you know, I mean, somebody made a comment about both of these organizations, they think it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's why they won't come to the table, you know. So I mean, that's, you know, and everybody on our side gets all excited out there. You hear Doge. Oh my goodness. If it just has Doge, it must be good. Oh, Freedom Caucus or whatever. You just hear that, it must be good. And people go running to it, as opposed to what are they really, really doing? And, and we are always open to it. We reach out and we say, hey, come, let's work cooperatively. Because I can tell you, we would crush it in this state if all these different conservative groups would work together. We can't get them to do it. Mark Lynch won't come to the table because Mark Lynch wants to be king of his little tiny pond. Same thing with the Freedom Caucus. They do not want to come to the table because, they were literally formed a year after or 9 months after we took over, the Greenville County Republican Party by the people who participated in the reorg fraud and the prior leadership, that the rhinos that we kicked out. So, are we not getting that Freedom Caucus were the former Greenville rhinos? So Freedom Caucus founded by a guy convicted of being a pedophile. Freedom Caucus this, Freedom Caucus that. You gotta watch and look at what they do. I find it very interesting. Joe White made a post the other day on his social media. Got tons of shares, tons of likes and hearts and sympathy and all that. That somebody had told him, a very powerful political influencer, male apparently, that I will destroy you and I will start now. It's to expose some things that I've heard about and I know about in regards. But it said, I will destroy you. He put it up there, and it's all this, lovey. We support you. We're behind you. I am literally the only person that asked the question: who said that to you? Who and why? He doesn't think that. He did respond to me, and he said that's he didn't see that as the issue. I see naming names as the issue. If somebody is saying that to you, number one, it's very different if it was Jim DeMint saying it to him, or Ralph Norman, or Speaker of the House, or some big political consultant, or something. It's a very different analysis of who, depending upon who said it. And you start asking for a reason, maybe there was a reason for this comment. I know some things out there. Maybe there was a reason for that comment, but it was like a big sympathy fest. And I'm like, why am I the only person asking who said it? And I get attacked for asking, and I just like, if somebody said that to us, I don't mind naming names and I don't mind saying things. So he doesn't say it. Maybe that's a shooting, a shot back at the other person to calm down. And then he goes off and does what this other person does. Because I will tell you, 2 days later, he was teaming up with Ron Reddy. So is it Ron Reddy? He said that, and that was part of the negotiating tactic. You say, oh look, I can get 200 people to feel sympathy for me. They're going to attack you if you don't go along with what I want. If you're gonna do that, you gotta tell people what's going on. So that is that. Voters don't become docile and agreeable. Thank you, Karen. You're right about that. All right. So what's next? What do we want to do? You are smiling because you always like our pro-life update. And I will tell you, not to steal your thunder, Matthew Clark will be up at the camp meeting, which is our counterparts over in Spartanburg tomorrow. We're going to try to make it over there. I'm looking for her back from Terry. Hey, Terry, she's supposed to be watching. So check your text.
Check your text.
But we're thinking about heading over there tomorrow to see if we can't live stream it. That has to do with Cash's bill and fighting for life. And he's sneaking up here real quick to speak with our Spartanburg friends. I think it'll be good to live stream that and get that tape out there, what he's talking about. So, correct.
Thank you. For those who don't know, Cash's bill S323 is up for another subcommittee hearing on the 18th. There won't be any testimony given like there was back on the 1st of October, but this is awesome news because earlier this year, McCravy's bill just kind of died where it was. I guess it's not dead, but it never went anywhere after they had the hearing. We recently had our business meeting. It was just last Monday. We had Kaya Jackson as a special guest speaker, and she talks about shaken babies syndrome. Her own child was beat on the head by her biological father when she was an infant because she wouldn't quiet down, and had extreme problems as a result of that, and ultimately died. Unfortunately, in South Carolina, there's a 3-year statute of limitation where a person cannot be accused of murder, even if they caused an injury that directly led to the death of someone, if the injury took place more than 3 years prior to the death.
Yeah, and let me update that because I asked Ray to go find that. I've always known murder never having a statute of limitations. That's the way we studied it in law school. I finished in '93. The example was always, I break into your house, hit you with a hammer. That's what I think a case that was out there. And then you end up dying from it 20 years later, and they actually tack it to an injury from that hammer hit that you could then be charged with homicide. Well, apparently in 2001, the state of South Carolina added a 3-year statute of limitations to that. So I've never seen that, but it's right there at the very top of the title section for homicide. So I am very curious to go back and look at what caused that and why they added that, because, if I do something that ends up causing your ultimate death, or say that you're on a ventilator, put you in a coma, and, if you pull the plug the day before the 3-year statute, you're charged with homicide. If you don't pull it the day after, you're not charged with homicide. What is the 3-year? Why is there a 3-year statute of limitations?
Is it only if you were previously convicted of assault? Is it like an upgrade charge or just on murder?
Yeah.
Just murder, 3 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can recite it if you like, what the law actually says, if you like. This is section 16.3.5.
Title 16-3-5.
Yeah.
So they put it right at the top.
Yeah, it's the first clause underneath Article 1 homicide.
Mhm.
And it says, person causing injury which results in death at least 3 years later, not to be prosecuted for homicide.
That's it.
A person who causes bodily injury which results in the death of the victim is not criminally responsible for the victim's death and must not be prosecuted for a homicide offense if at least 3 years intervene between the injury and the death of the victim.
Yeah, when was that added again?
2001.
Who was the officer?
I don't know. Who killed somebody? Or who assaulted somebody? I don't.
We will have to dig what case
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
based on, because someone.
But if you die within 3 years of the incident, is there a statute of limitations?
No.
No,
No.
Within
3
the
years
3
is the
years, you can
statute
charge it.
of limitation.
Obviously,
20
you
years.
can charge them with other things,
Yeah, sure,
assault,
sure.
battery, and all that kind of stuff. But the homicide, which is
Homicide.
to me the real issue, and we were taught, that is something that is so heinous, murder, that even if it is 20 years later, if somebody does something to me or to you that then causes your death to be delayed, maybe they give you a poison that's a delayed release. Tylenol delayed release or whatever. Whatever it might be. It's why is it? It is what's funny to me is it's contrary to the principle that they taught us in law school.
So what you're saying is if some police department is researching a cold case, 10 years later, they found the person who's responsible for the death of the individual,
That would still be okay. This is I beat you with a hammer, but you don't die for 3 years.
okay.
So that's that case. Now,
And
in
5 years
the
down the
interim,
road,
I'm prosecuted for beating you with a hammer and assault, battery, all that. But then if
Do you want us
end up
putting
dying
these on the back because we have
from
extras?
those injuries that I caused,
Let's go.
It's
I just
basically
didn't
the
know
date of
whether
the
we
death
had
of the
enough.
assailant.
you're right, yes.
Wow, you're all
Yeah.
done.
The date of the actual
It's
injury.
good. It's great.
Yes.
And you do the assailant.
This is very hot.
Well, the father was tried for child abuse and is currently serving prison time for it. So it's not that he got away scot-free.
Might as well use
That's
that.
what this case was about. It was a shaken baby. He got prosecuted for that. Now the child passes away because of that original shaken baby
Right.
syndrome.
And the shaken baby, this is the perfect example of why this is ridiculous.
And there, anyway, this is known as Egypt Act, named after her daughter, who passed away here within the last couple of years, if I remember right. Last year and a half, yeah. There's no number on it yet. We are, and I forget the name of her sponsor, but it is supposed to be submitted. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
it is.
may be something, we've got our big main issues, but I think if we could add, we're gonna add other bills to this. This
Yeah.
is something we oughta, and Wendell Jones is a Democrat, but if Wendell Jones wants to file some bill that will get rid of this 3-year thing or add shaken baby as an exclusion or whatever, that's something I think we wanna reach out and support.
And there is another bill that's currently on the books. Obviously, they haven't passed it yet, but there's another bill that would, right now in South Carolina, it's not considered child abuse if the child's under 11. And there's another bill there's a bill that's going to basically say as long as you have a minor under your care, it's child abuse. And getting rid of the 11-year. And at our meeting, we were actually talking about possibly marrying these two bills together as well.
Yeah, and David Pasco's talked about, there's some gap, up to 11 is child abuse, but 13 or 14 is not child abuse. Why? I mean, and I think they want to lengthen that to just 18.
Yeah.
So,
But these two ideas seem like it'd be a perfect marriage for them to go together because they're both addressing some serious shortfalls in protecting our own children.
I don't know if you can have technically both bills together. Maybe two different subjects. It may be similar. That's maybe a technical. Does Wendell Jones want to do that one too?
Three-year statute of limitations. Are they trying to get rid of that clause in
Yes.
the clause?
Some of them might be on the back.
Yes, the idea is to
Because it doesn't matter, you don't get a 3-year.
right. It would be indefinite. If this injury caused death, even you could.
So we're trying to strike that out of the clause.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And I do have the names written down. I failed to bring them with me today, but I do have the names written down.
It's, we
players.
ought to reach out to him and ask him, and tell him that we would want to participate in helping. I don't mind working with a Democrat if they're going to do the right thing. I don't mind working with the Freedom Caucus if they're going to do the right thing. Problem is, I don't think they think they do.
The only other-
They do. Or I don't mind working with leadership and the establishment. I mean, we need to be working all together to sit there and push the right stuff forward. And if a broke clock is right every other day.
Twice a day.
Twice a day.
Twice a day.
So,
Twice a day.
I don't mind looking at the clock and telling you what time.
For our upcoming events, Jeff, this isn't a pro-life committee event, but I'll be going to. I plan to go to this meeting with Dr. Clark tomorrow as well. On Monday, we do have the pro-life committee does have our own event. We're having Lisa Van Riper from South Carolina Citizens for Life. She'll be at Denny's with us, just a block down the road. She'll be at Denny's with us at 6:30 to talk about SCCL.
Come at 5:30 if you want to eat.
Yeah, as early as 5:30 if you want to eat. We are going to have some serious questions about why SCCL was opposing S323, but hopefully it'll be a productive question and answer session. But do have some very serious issues why they were opposed, not just sitting in the back and letting things develop, but being actively opposed to the bill. On the 14th, which should be Friday of next week, yes, Friday, Flourish Adoptions is having a golf tournament, $500 for a foursome. It includes golf balls and lunch, and the money will go to Flourish Adoptions to help with adopting children, which of course is a much preferred alternative to abortion. On December 8th, will be movie night. We're having Horton Hatches the Egg and Elf. Again, it'll be at Denny's in January. Actually, we voted on this. I'm going to give a talk on in January socialism, what it is and how to recognize it. February and March, I'm going to continue this talk. In February, I'm going to focus on how it's infiltrated our culture, Christianity in particular, because we are a Christian culture, whether people want to admit it or not. But how socialism is actually infiltrated and into it. And then I want to end on a proactive note. In March, I'll give a talk on how to deal with socialists in common settings.
He's getting technical on the socialists. So it is something that we need to look at, especially with what happened in New York. And I mean, literally, this guy became a U.S. citizen 6 or 7 years ago. Now he's been in New York.
And they're
America City.
not even hiding behind the Democratic brand name anymore. They're openly talking about it right now.
I mean, when you look on his Wikipedia page, it says he's a member of the Democratic Party and a member of the Democratic Socialist Party. And you're sitting there going, you've got to be kidding me. Like this is, I mean, it's now open. You know, I mean, I get it that how we struggle to expose the ones that are hiding behind, you know, what they're really doing. Watch what they do, not what they say. This guy's literally saying it to us, and we're not doing it.
All you gotta do is look at history. The Democratic Socialist Party, the communists, they ran people for president up until 1984. What made them stop?
Reagan.
No, it wasn't Reagan. They had nothing to do with it. The Democrats were coming that way, and they were just saying, okay, well, why should we run anybody? We'll just back them because they're doing what we want anyway. And now they've gone full scale over to the other side.
30
Yeah.
years later.
Yeah.
That's really a lot of what this government shutdown has done. Is they're actually advertising themselves now. It was always there. I mean, if you look at their donors, their biggest donors have always been dedicated Marxists and dedicated socialists.
And, you know, and if you want to talk about, you know, foreign intervention, I'm like, you know, we literally talk all the time. People are asking us, are we going to intervene in, you know, Venezuela or intervene in these I mean, you know, I have no doubt, you know, the communists across the globe are sitting there, you know, supporting and putting money into these types of things. So it's clear as day right now, which is, it's a problem. And it's funny to sit there and watch. On one side, we got Trump and all the things that he's doing, and at least from our perspective, the successes and what he's building and moving really fast at, versus the contrary, the far left. So a lot of people, you know, I've seen the discussions, they think it's going to end up being a battle of the far right populism and the far left populism. I don't know which direction that thing's going to go or what battles that's going to entail. Obviously, we would be more on the far right populism, but when given that opportunity or given those options. But I'm like, you know, the other side fights dirty, and you got to expect some pretty nasty stuff to come out from that. And the guy up here, guy shares with us that remember that Democrat socialist equals Nazis. So. Which is true. That's natural. Yeah.
It's been going on forever. Historically, we would go in third world countries and we build all these schools, and then we walk away, and the socialists would come in and they put in the teachers in the books. I mean, this has been going on at least since the end of World War II. All the goodwill we've done throughout the world, we don't leave a living legacy. We create a structure and let someone else come in and take over. And that just reminds me of the parable of the dishonest steward. I mean, socialists understand the Bible better than most Christians. I'm sorry to say, and they take full advantage of it.
And as I said, they play dirty. Ruthie puts up here, our establishment fights dirty too, which is very accurate. You know, I mean, and what gets me is, you know, that almost puts them in the same camp as the socialists, as, you know, as the far left progressives. Because in reality, that's really what they are. We have tried to do things as honorable as we can, and we're still accused of things because of the projection that comes from the other side. But what I've always said is we are not going to fight with both hands tied behind our back. we're not gonna become what we are purging, but we are not gonna sit there and just roll over and let them steamroll over. So that's my thing, is we're fighting pretty hard to push on that. Guy put up here as well, remember, brownfornc.com. That fight they're fighting up there. I assume, and Guy, maybe you can tell us, how did you passed your congressional district? Did y'all get that Rule 11 issue passed there? And is that going to your state EC up in North Carolina this weekend, or is that already passed too? So I think it's going this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. But let us know about that, or at least you can give us an update when it comes next. Ray, what I do want to ask you about is Matthew Clark is having people sign some sort of agreement
Well,
to
he,
unify the pro-life groups.
yeah, and of course, that's a very laudable goal. He did text that he didn't want it to go public yet. So one of the things I'll ask tomorrow, is it okay for us to start passing this out or not? But that was one of the things he did ask when he first brought that issue up.
Well, I was asking, because I know you signed it
Yes.
as chair of the pro-life committee.
Yes.
I want us to look at it from the Greenville GOP perspective. I did read that York County GOP voted to endorse that last night, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
They're like signed the.
Yes, but they voted on it last night, so it must be pretty public. If they had
Okay.
it at their GOP.
Oh yeah, they posted it on social media.
It's on their
So,
social
okay.
media. Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
yeah,
I just
want to say I went on as chairman. I had not put it before the committee yet, although I feel very confident on how the committee would, what they would say.
Yeah.
But right now I'm just on as chairman, not as the actual committee.
And I mean, we sometimes know what our respective bodies want, so we sometimes go with it. Like with the censures, I didn't know exactly what the body would want. I kind of had a gut feeling, but that's why we went through the whole process, bottom up. We're a bottom up organization, right? From precincts to the county, to the state, to the national. That's why with the censures, and somebody was complaining the other day, they're like, oh, we don't like all this top down. I'm like, what top down? The censures is the perfect example. We sat here and sent out 250 emails, all the precinct ECs and presidents, and said, give us your feedback. Let's talk about this. We then had 2 open forum Q&As, Zoom meetings, answer all the questions there. We had several meetings one-on-one where people wanted to come just talk to me or talk to a couple of us about what it meant, what all this did. We did a vote in a special meeting, and then we did a second vote. And I had some people at that second vote say, well, there was no debate. I'm like, well, there's no debate because we had talked about it.
We already had the meeting where you had
We
chance
had
to you didn't show up.
debate about it. Everybody was in full
Those are
agreement.
done.
Well, if you didn't join the previous meeting, it's your fault, not our fault.
So don't accuse us, don't accuse me of top down telling you what we're doing. Nothing would have been more bottom up than the censures. It's really through the same process with our legislative.
These are done.
Yeah.
These are all done. Those are marked.
Right,
These are all,
right. So
these are all done.
what do you looking for?
Those aren't marked.
Oh, this
Those
is
are,
the.
oh, the other
Yeah,
side.
that's every one of them is.
Said, thank your county for signing our joint statement on equal legal protection for the people.
Yeah.
The full statement will be published next week.
So that's the equal
Okay.
protection. So that might be different.
Okay.
Yeah, Clark's with personhood.
These are done. Those are.
Equal protection
What
is,
are those?
they have very
What's those?
similar goals, but they're still separate organizations.
Well, we need them all working together. We all
Yes.
need to work. Sorry, that's a simple principle. We need to all be working
Yes.
together. So
All right.
we'll hopefully help bring that to fruition. But to me, that's the ultimate test. If life is simple, it's a simple answer, and if we can't get everybody working on that, we got bigger problems.
Matt just approved your,
These are all done.
live stream idea.
Okay.
He actually wants it on his Facebook link, so I know you got the text as well, but I know you're busy doing other
I
things.
saw something pop up. So-
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get over there. Terry, okay, good. We will be there.
Awesome.
See our friends in
Okay,
Spartanburg.
we doing events?
All right, events. This is the big thing. I really want us to pack out this November 5th, it's next Saturday. I really want us to pack out this Liberty Activist boot camp. Now, I've taken the class multiple times. We've thought about just kind of teaching the class ourselves, and maybe that's what we need to do going forward. The old days, it was taught by faculty. A lot of the faculty people now work with Liberty Action, that's Young Americans for Liberty and all that kind of stuff. Yes, they support the Freedom Caucus, and yes, they're the ones who are doing, that kind of stuff. But it's good training, and it's free. And you get lunch, and you get a little, breakfast or whatever they'll have, and coffee and all that jazz. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jeff, Shane signed up for it, and she got a response back from them.
Okay.
I signed up and said completed, but I never got a response back.
Okay. Olga signed up, and they actually called her. So you got a phone call from them.
I got nothing.
Okay.
So I don't know. I
Well,
guess
I
if I just show up,
Yeah. If you signed up and got a confirmation.
I got it.
I texted them this morning to find out how many people had signed up, because I want to make sure we have a good number.
Yeah, how many are going?
I don't know. He hadn't responded back. I hope we pack the room. I hope they have to expand it. But I want as many of our people to come and to see it. And, and just really understand the real nature of politics. Because what we've got to do everything's got to be about action, 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 and doing things. That's why I love everybody sitting here, not listening to me, putting dates on this stuff, because that's much more important than not blabbering, right? So we got to be all about action, action, action. But you got to understand what's really going on out there. Now, I can't say that I agree with everything they'll say. You will hear some things. We can talk about it and all that kind of jazz. But when we first went to this class, my jaw hit the ground, and I'm like, yes, they did that to me. They did that to me. They did that to me, or to us on our legislative agenda with school choice, a long time ago. That's why I'm a big supporter of it. Now, strangely enough, whatever, they're supporting the Freedom Caucus was supporting government-run school. Well, that just shows me that the dark money does exist. We're getting a free class. Somebody donated the money for it. They're going to want you to go onto their platform and believe all their stuff, but they have to teach it to all of us. Now, I've talked to them, and they're like, they don't want to get into the drama, between us and me or whatever, the Freedom Caucus, which is fine. But we're conservatives. They're supposed to be conservatives. We can work together on things that are conservative. What gets me is when they're pushing things that are not conservative, and the fact that they won't talk about it. We got to be able to talk about it. But that's on the 15th. I sent out an email yesterday about that from the Greenville GOP. Hopefully we'll get more people to sign up for that. I really want to highly encourage everybody to do that.
What time is it and where is it?
It's from 9 to 5, and it's got to be at the Wingate Hotel over off of Pelham Road.
All the information and you have to register. You cannot just show up.
Yeah, you have to register in
So-
advance.
If you go to greenvillegop.com/events, there's that and any other event, and the link to register is on there as well.
Did you send it out yesterday?
I sent it out yesterday from the team at greenvillegop.com. So that went out yesterday, I think, in the morning. And this morning we sent out, I'm trying to keep those emails short. We'll probably do more emails, shorter emails. 'Cause it gets lost in so much stuff we have going on. But we've now, the Christmas party. Christmas party is December 1st. We're doing it with Spartanburg. That, it's right there
Well,
in
now we
Greer.
have Spartanburg, Oconee,
That's Cherokee.
Cherokee.
And I've reached out to Pickens, and we'll reach out to Anderson. And what we're trying to do is get all of our GOPs working together. It's primarily location is going to be Greenville and Spartanburg people back in the house. But do get your tickets for it. We'll do the silent auctions and all that kind of stuff. Suggested donation is $20. If you want to donate more, you can do more. If you need help, and we do have a promo code, we can get you a free ticket.
Right, we ask for donations, but if you know anyone that cannot afford, we don't want anyone to miss on it, just let them come and we'll take care of it, not a problem.
Yeah.
If we are still accepting items for silent auction, if you know any business, it's so easy. I've learned that myself this time. This is the first time I'm helping to gather some donations. I walked into a business yesterday and with a nice letter, they didn't even want to see a letter. They gave me a gift card. So if you are willing to maybe contact some businesses, especially if you know they're conservative businesses, or if you have a business or you have your, like we have people that give us items they make, like they make jewelry or they make what it's called, like handmade dishes and stuff. So we try to stay away from things that you would not buy yourself. Like we don't want to think, we're trying to make a little bit of money on the silent auction. So we ask that people just don't bring items to clean up their garage because, this is not a yard sale, but just some people don't know. But we had the first year, I think people were trying to be helpful, but then there were items that we just could not, ask for donation for. But anything else, if you have ideas, people donate. We have several members do it over and over again every year. They donate, they have a vacation home, so they graciously donate like a weekend, and you can bid on it, and they then arrange that you can go with two people in the mountains, both of them in the mountains, I guess. Did we have a beach house too? I'm not sure. Anyway, so things like that. If you can think of something, contact myself or Terry. Other great idea, if you are a big dog lover or a cat lover, you can actually purchase a cat basket. They were very popular last time. We had someone that donated a kitty basket. There were treats and toys and things, and another person donated a dog basket. Or
I think there was a survivalist basket.
they were
too.
yes, we had that.
If you're into that and want to rotate your supply.
Yeah. Or if you just want to support the effort of silent auction and you don't know what to do, if you donate money, we will have someone to go shopping and put the basket together, like purchase the items. We have had that happen as well. So just
Some people have more money than time.
Who's he pointing to?
There.
It's just, and again, it's not really, I mean, it's nice to, replenish the GOP,
I don't have much either.
accounts, but at the end of the day, it's just so much fun when people can come to our event and shop around, and it's just, we enjoy the whole.
And we've had people
process.
donate, like I'll cook a dinner, and that kind of stuff. So
Oh, my gosh.
just come to the house, we'll cook a dinner for
We
10
had
or
people
whatever.
donate, now all my ideas are coming. One of our members donated his pressure washing skills, or, someone auctioned that up and he went to their house and cleaned up their driveway and.
Oh, my gosh.
Things like that. Our friends that are, in, what do you call it, like do massages and stuff, they donate every year too, like a massage. They are very popular. So anyway,
I won't be donating my massage services, but I will donate my appearance in a dunking booth if somebody wants to sponsor me.
Not this time of year.
You know what?
Not this time of year,
we
but
can raise a lot of money
That's
for
right.
that.
that's just 4th of July. The dunking booth. Come dunk the chair.
In February.
We in the old days when we lived in the Isle of Palms, we would do the polar plunge on the first. On January
Oh,
1st.
yeah, my daughter does that, or didn't do that every year.
I've aged too much. So.
I'm not doing that. And other, we will have a DJ. One of our members is donating, not donating a DJ, but the DJ services. So we'll have a professional DJ. So I don't know. I guess there will be a dance floor.
Yeah, it's not on carpet this time. So
No.
so it's apparently there'll be a little bit of dancing if you'd like to dance. that type of stuff. The attire is just Christmas festive, whatever, casual, you know. We do also throw on there, since it's the 250, anniversary, that this next year will be, everything's gonna be 250 themed for next year. We do have some of our friends that listen or texting in that do have colonial garb. And
Oh, boy.
If that's what you wanna wear, feel free, this is the time.
This is the time to do it.
I won't be dressing up, but some may, and
You are?
no,
Okay.
I don't do dress up.
You don't do dress up? I thought that's all you do.
Now, Olga, we heard that you have quite the wardrobe.
Oh, did you hear from the haters again that
Oh,
I
yeah.
spend too much money on clothes?
Yes, we do hear that sometimes.
Oh, my gosh, look at that old guy there. Whew.
What,
Yeah, so that's events,
Yeah.
because that's.
so I think it'll be a lot of fun. We did order the other day. I assume Mary ordered
No,
it.
I'm not talking about it yet because I haven't seen it, so.
Well, I think we can say.
No, we have not seen it. I have not seen it being ordered, so that is how you're going to blow it, and it's not gonna be available.
It's, I don't think you
No.
can tell.
Jeff?
There will be something that you can take a picture with.
Yeah, we have photo booth every year.
We have a photo booth.
Yeah.
And there'll be something you can take a picture with out on the deck. Because there's a deck at this place that overlooks the lake that's next to it. So, and then we'll put out about parking, and we'll try to make it convenient. It's tough parking down there, so we would encourage people to carpool, bring friends, what have you. But we'll show the parking schematics and all that kind of jazz. So that'll make it easier. The city of Greer is tough down there.
Volunteers for valet parking.
They are working volunteers.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll do ballet. but-
The volunteer sign up thing is coming up. Because we have other parties joining, that means we will have many helpers. But we will put around a sign up sheet for people to help. We will be asking for help.
The beauty of it, this is what's really worked out real well, because normally we have to staff everything and get all the volunteers. Well, now we've decided it's part of
Just
the
gonna
staff.
black
So it's like, it makes our job a whole lot easier, so it's been
We
a lot of fun.
got
working with
plenty
those
of.
guys. So, and being right in between the two
We'll have to get
counties
some
and
help.
and let people start meeting and talking, because that's really what we need to do. Because, I mean, as I've always said, we are the biggest
Is that all
county
of them like that?
in the state. We represent 12 or whatever percent of the population,
That's covered.
but a bigger percentage of the Republicans in this
These are
state.
all, there's,
But, we can't do it all on our own. I mean, we can't muscle through.
I can just black these
12%.
up.
Yeah.
Even if every senator and
just one?
house rep did exactly what we
Yes.
wanted, we can't muscle through.
Yeah.
But we have
140,
to do.
whatever, house reps and.
Okay.
41 those things. We used up
So
all
we need to be working with other counties. We need to build coalitions to work on supporting all these
Terrible
legislative agendas and all this type of stuff we're doing. So that's the only way it's gonna wake them up. So we got people around the state that are trying to help formulate and pull all of that different type of stuff together. So,
How close is the Cannon Center to where the party was last year?
I think it's like almost next door.
Yeah, it's just the parking, it's a different parking.
Yeah.
But
So-
it's kind of around it. It's next door, but you have to drive around.
It's like, it's like within a block, it's right there.
Yeah.
So there's parking on a lower level, you can park on the street, and there is a parking garage, a parking lot further down. There are some apartment complexes that built over there, do not park in the apartment complex, they will tell you. But we'll clarify that and try to, clear the deck for people to park. And the food is going to be catered, the main food. Our treasurer, Mary Wheeler, is going to do baked ziti and meatloaf.
Meatloaf with potatoes and stuff.
Yeah, potatoes and all the trimmings. Well, we're asking people if you want to bring cookies or a dessert or something like that. So in the past, we have had people we provided the meat before, and had people bring the other stuff. In the past, we've had people bring everything. And we're trying to, get a little bit more money in the bank, so at least provide the food. And if anybody wants to make some cookies.
Christmas cookies,
Christmas
your favorite
cookies.
Christmas cookies, that's the theme, so we don't have to be serving it. It will be easy to people just grab cookies.
Crab cookies. And you guys are putting up the Christmas tree. We always have a Christmas tree here.
Oh, yeah, I have a
And
little On Monday, the 17th, is that right?
It's a
If
little
anyone-
late for me, but yes, I like Christmas tree. Should have been
Do
about
you wanna take
already.
some of my responsibilities?
No.
Yeah. So Monday, the 17th, if anyone is interested, we have a group of us going to be here decorating the tree or just socializing. It's a little pre-Christmas
Christmas
social
punch.
here.
So that'll be on
Jerry
the
is making
17th.
punch, so
Yeah, what time y'all doing?
starting at 5:30 and on, we'll be here for a few hours to finish the tree, but it's like a drop-in whenever, after 5:30.
But anybody who wants to come to
5:30,
buy
that's
it.
good.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk out with you.
Get to work, Jerry.
Get up.
Get him.
Get 'em.
Sick 'em.
Thank you all.
Sick 'em, sick 'em.
And we'll push hard. Anybody that knows anybody in Simpson, yeah, this is it. I mean, we had a bunch of races going, so we were spread, I hate to say thin, but we were spread all around. But, Jerry's, I think this is gonna be fun. I love runoffs. Runoffs are fun. So, because it's about turning people out. And as you said, and he's right, it was about, I think the top two candidates had just around the low 400, 410, 430. And then the other gentleman had 160, 170. So you're talking less than 200,000 people.
Less than that.
Yeah, so we gotta get them out. So that's what we're gonna focus on. And remember, we did this with Chad Arrear's race 2 years ago. Chad was in the runoff. Chad came in second. The number 3 person, and I think he came in, it might have been like 1,000 for the first person, and 700 for Chad, and a couple hundred for the third person. Third person endorsed the number 1. And we came in and got involved in it and won it for Chad. So,
Right.
so not many people come out for a runoff election for a municipal race. So barely any came out for the election itself. Not many come out for a runoff, but we're gonna get as many of our people out as we can. So what else? Who's got something? Questions? Anything? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Can we debate it? Oh, Greg's not here, so if nobody's got anything else, we're gonna be out because we got a lot of work to do, and we'll be back next week. I think Mike Burkhold, who is running for comptroller, is gonna join us next week. We're gonna dial him in. He lives down in Lyle Palms. We're gonna dial him in and start hearing some of the things that he's talking about. He does not have a opponent as of yet in that race. And I think him and Curtis Loftus, I gotta confirm with Curtis, are gonna be at our first meeting, our business meeting in January. Neither one of them have opponents. So I think it's good, it's comptroller, treasurer, having them talk about the vision of what's going on there. And that'll be January 6th. And I think we're planning on doing that at the library again. We should have that reserved today. Oh, it's actually Monday the 5th. That'll be our next business meeting. So if we have any real business, I think we need to do, we'll call a special meeting. But otherwise, I think we're gonna have those guys speak for us at that first meeting in January. So January 5th, put that on the calendar too. All right, we're out. Thank y'all.
If anyone's blocked in by a white van, I will track the scoundrel down.
Remember we were talking last night about
Track it
that
down.
community.
And then
that
also
we're
just to
looking
let you
at
know, we got, Veterans Day next week. All right, we're
Yeah,
out.
I agree with you. Yeah, this is where roughly it's gonna